Back at it again with another 10-minute math review. This time we're going to be solving complex rational equations. This one goes along with exercise 36 for you guys. Okay, so sometimes you got to deal with denominators that either need to be factored, or maybe you got multiple polynomials, multiple fractions, and you have this all in an equation. Well, the strategy here is going to be to get rid of the denominators so that you can solve the equation. Take a look at something like this, which is an example that we're going to be doing in a second. Here you got multiple denominators and they need to be factored. So the steps are going to be, for any question that you have, the following. Number one, factor each denominator. Number two, you're going to be finding the lowest common denominator. Third step, you're going to multiply every polynomial in the equation by that lowest common denominator. That's going to allow you to simplify by canceling like terms. And then finally, all your denominators are going to be gone, so you're going to be able to solve as you normally would. Okay, let's take a look at our first example here. So this is the question we were looking at before. A couple things going on here. We got two denominators and one of them needs to be factored. So maybe the first thing to think about would be to factor that x squared minus 9. Now that one's a difference of squares, so you're just going to get x plus 3 and x minus 3. Okay, now you could rewrite the whole thing. I'm going to go for it, so I'm going to rewrite what I got with that thing factored, and then I'm going to be multiplying both sides by my lowest common denominator, which happens to be x plus 3 and x minus 3. Just going to extend that. There. Okay, so now I can see, all right, well, my lowest common denominator is going to be x plus 3. Already have an x plus 3 here, so check, check, and I need an x minus 3. So I like to write it out over here, and I'll just say, okay, x plus 3, x minus 3, and that would cover all my denominators. So on both sides, what I'm going to do is do some big brackets, and I'm going to multiply by x plus 3 and x minus 3. Now on this side, same thing is going to happen because it's an equation, right? So multiply by x plus 3 and x minus 3. Distribute this into each bracket. So each polynomial is going to be getting multiplied by this. Now I am going to just go ahead and write that all out. So let's do that. So I'm going to have x plus 3 and x minus 3 times 4x. So this is the first fraction. And the denominator over here was x plus 3. Right on. Next one. So I got 10. I believe I lost my x somewhere in here. Yes, it was a 10x. So just notice that I lost it here. So it should be 10x. So now I'm going to go x plus 3, x minus 3 times 10x. So we're going to go x plus 3, x minus 3 times the 10x over the denominator that I had here. So x plus 3, x minus 3, and that equals all this stuff, which I guess I'm just going to recopy for now. Okay, so if I do everything correctly at this point, I should see all my denominators disappearing here. So let's see. In the first fraction, everything's being multiplied, so I can go ahead and cancel out any common term. So x plus 3 divided by x plus 3 will be 1. Same thing is going to happen over here. That cancels out to 1. X minus 3 divided by x minus 3, well, that's just 1. Nothing happening over here. So what's left over? I just have x minus 3 times 4x. Recopy that plus sign. Over here, all that's left is the 10x. And then on the right-hand side, I'm left with this expression. Now, I'm going to just take a shortcut, and I'm going to remultiply these together, save myself some time. So I'm just going to get x squared minus 9. There. Now you have an equation that you can solve as you normally would. You're way more familiar with solving these all the way back to grade 10. So just make sure that you distribute the 4x into the brackets. So you would get 4x squared minus 12x plus 10x. And on the right hand side, again, distribute the 4 into the brackets, so you're going to get 4x squared minus 36. Now, I have a 4x squared on each side, so when I subtract 4x squared from one side, it's going to cancel the other one. Over here, I can group these like terms, so I get negative 2x equals negative 36. I can divide both sides by negative 2, and I'm going to get that x equals 18. Don't forget to check this against your non-permissible values. So my non-permissible values from before was x could not equal plus or minus 3. So this answer should be fine. So that one's done. Let's take a look at the last one I got here for us. What we need to do on this one is first we need to find the LCD. That's going to be accomplished by factoring each piece that we can factor here. So this one here is going to factor to x plus 3 and x plus 2. Now what I like to do is simply check off everything that has an x plus 3 and write that in my LCD. Then I got an x plus 2 here and an x plus 2 over here, so my LCD needs an x plus 2. You need to make sure that you have every piece, every denominator checked off. Once you have that, you now know that you're going to multiply each side by x plus 3 and x plus 2. So we can get doing that right now. So I'm going to go 8 times x plus 3 and x plus 2 over the factor denominator here. So x plus 3 and x plus 2. Next fraction, subtract 2, multiply it by the LCD, so x plus 3 and x plus 2 over x plus 3 equals, on this side, 3 times x plus 3, x plus 2 over x plus 2. Okay. Now that you got the common denominator, x plus 3 and x plus 3 will cancel out to 1. Same thing here with the x plus 2's. Same thing here with the x plus 3's over here. And the x plus 2's over here. Now, if you have anything left over, check this fraction carefully. There's only the 8 left over. Everything canceled. Subtract 2 times x plus 2. And that equals 3 times x plus 3. So now you've arrived to a place where you'll be able to solve this as you normally would. So distribute, don't forget the negative sign, distribute the negative 2 into the brackets. So you get negative 2x, subtract 4. Same thing with the 3 here, distribute into the brackets. You're going to get 3x plus 9. Now, we can go 8 subtract 4, and that gives us 4. And I guess I'll just recopy the subtract 2x. And over here, there's nothing for me to do. I'm now going to add 2x to both sides. So let's go plus 2x, and that's going to leave me with 5x on this side, and the 2x will be gone over here. I'm also going to subtract 9 on this side, so I'll be subtracting 9 over here. So 4 subtract 9 is negative 5. Divide both sides by 5, and you get that x equals negative 1. Don't forget your non-permissible values, so your NPVs from before, when you factored it, would have been negative 3 and negative 2, which is not our answer, so we are okay. Thanks for joining me for this 10-minute math. It was wonderful having you guys. Have a good one. Bye-bye.